Well, good morning, and thank you all for joining us for this very important press briefing for Special Olympics Cayman Islands. May I also take this opportunity to wish you all a very happy and healthy 2015 on behalf of the Special Olympics Cayman Islands family. And when we talk about the family of Special Olympics, we cast the net very widely. So we include not only our athletes and their families, but our coaches, our volunteers, and our supporters. As we like to say in Special Olympics, once you're a member of that family, you're always a member, right, Max? Yeah. So even if you change your role, we'll always find something useful for you to do within Special Olympics. I would now like to introduce our family members sitting with me here today, who are going to share their thoughts as part of this press briefing. Our Sports Minister, the Honourable Osborne Bodden, Miss Antoinette Johnson, member of the Board of Directors of Special Olympics Cayman Islands and head of delegation for the 2015 Special Olympics World Games. And Mr. Andrew Smiley, Special Olympics athlete, gold medal winner at former World Games, Special Olympics Cayman Islands ambassador, and lastly, but by no means least, athletes representative on the Board of Directors of Special Olympics Cayman Islands. Quite an impressive list. My name is Nick Freeland, and I have the honour of chairing the Board of Directors of Special Olympics Cayman Islands. 2015 will be a huge year for Special Olympics Cayman Islands and Special Olympics worldwide. On Saturday, July the 25th, the opening ceremony of the 2015 Special Olympics World Games takes place at the historic Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. This will mark the start of the largest sporting and humanitarian event to take place anywhere in the world in 2015. We will be sending our largest delegation ever to a World Games, and Tony will be giving you more details on that. But just to give you some perspective on the scale of the event, there will be approximately 7,000 athletes representing 177 countries. There will be over 3,000 coaches and 30,000 volunteers. And 500,000 spectators will cheer on and encourage our athletes to challenge themselves to do their very best. Every one of those athletes will be a winner, and I can assure you that these games will be a life-changing event for every one of them. The news team from Cayman 27 will be helping us to ramp up local support from within our community and will accompany the delegation to Los Angeles, so there will be ongoing real-time coverage of the team's achievements and experiences. Before I pass over to Minister Bodden to add his remarks, I would just like to thank him and his ministry for their ongoing support and encouragement. And I will talk a bit more about partnerships at the end of this briefing. But our long-standing partnership with his ministry is so important to us. Minister Bodden.
Thank you, Nick, and a pleasant good morning to all as well. And on my first speaking to the press and speaking to the community for the year, I too would like to join Nick in wishing everyone a very happy and prosperous 2015. Certainly, I'm very delighted as Minister to join Special Olympics Cayman Islands in announcing the members of the Cayman Islands team who will be participating in the Special Olympics World Games this summer. Our 37 outstanding young men and women will be among 7,000 athletes representing 177 countries, along with thousands of support staff and spectators, as you've just heard. At 54 persons strong, the Cayman Islands delegation will comprise the largest group ever from these shores to attend the event, and that is worth a huge applause, I think. Although some of our athletes are absent today, we have here representing them a distinguished panel, including the Special Olympics athlete seated beside me, my friend Andrew Smiley, well known, who embodies the spirit, talent, and determination of the entire team. I also extend my appreciation to Special Olympics Chairman, Mr. Nick Freeland, for the much appreciated and hard work by his dedicated core of supporters. Alongside them, we have Antoinette Johnson, who is one of the two heads of delegation. She's another longtime volunteer who has demonstrated commitment and great heart in supporting the cause of these young athletes. I'm sure that the California trip will be rewarding and memorable in terms of performances and of the athletes in athletics, aquatics, basketball, both, and football, but also from a personal standpoint. This seventh World Summer Games will be the biggest international sports and humanitarian event of 2015. With such massive participation, the event is more than a meet, it is a global movement. I know anticipation must be already running high amongst our athletes and coaches. I thank all those friends and family members who are lucky enough to attend and who will participate as fans in the stands, cheering on the efforts of our team members. Here at home, our televisions and internet services will keep us well informed of your progress, even as we offer our prayers and encouragement. While each of our local Special Olympic athletes is a role model in their own right, I'd like to share the story of Mr. Pete Waldron. Pete is a global messenger of the 2015 World Games, a Special Olympics athlete since 1974. He has competed in track and field, tennis, both, floor hockey, basketball, volleyball, golf, and skiing. His many displays of courage and determination led to his selection as a role model for 2015. The sheer joy that he exudes, they say, makes him an inspiration to other participants. He also does much to raise awareness of the Special Olympics movement. I hope our young athletes get a chance to meet him. Pete, like all in the Cayman Islands team, will motivate those in the City of Angels this summer, as well as the many special needs persons around the world who may never be a part of the international competition. I must note that our own Andrew Smiley is also a local and international role model and celebrity in his own right. You heard that, Andrew? Celebrity. The most senior and accomplished of the local World Game athletes, he competed in such places as Ireland, China, and Greece, and now in LA. Just last month, Andrew was chosen as one of only 40 athletes worldwide to be profiled by ESPN TV channel. These profiles will be aired as a lead-up to the World Games. He and his coach, Penny McDowell, have been instrumental in establishing open water swimming as a Special Olympic sport, and Andrew is looking to defend his gold medal from Athens, which was the first time the sport was included. So I applaud Andrew, our entire Cayman team, and the other competitors who will put on awe-inspiring displays of spirit in LA this summer, in spite of their personal hurdles. I offer you all the continued support of the government and people of the Cayman Islands as Special Olympics continues to bring awareness of this global family in competition and in friendship. Good luck and Godspeed.
Thank you very much, Minister Bodden. I'll now ask our head of delegation, Tony Johnson, to tell us much more about the delegation itself. But before I do that, I would just like to, Tony is not one at all to blow her own trumpet. But I will tell you, this role is and there is a deputy head of delegation as well, but this role is the most challenging of all the roles involved in making sure our team gets to the World Games safely, soundly, and has an outstanding experience there. I mean, the mere registration of a team of this size is a feat in of itself, and we've started off very, very well, and I have every confidence that Tony will do an outstanding job. So, Tony, over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and a Happy New Year to you. Thanks, Nick, for your kind words, but essentially, the work that we do in Special Olympics is a group effort, and I have a lot of people behind me helping me to bring this biggest ever delegation to the World Games in Los Angeles. We have been going to the World Games since we started as a program, and this is now our 7th World Games. For the first time this year, we'll be taking athletes in our basketball and our football programs. Now, these programs have been around since probably the early 2000s, but we haven't been able to take national teams to the international games in football and basketball, so we're excited about that. Another thing that's new for these games is that we're taking unified partners, and unified partners is a new concept maybe for some people. In Special Olympics, it has been the focus for the last couple of years, and it's certainly the focus of these games. The concept is that by being together, training and competing together, Special Olympics athletes and non-Special Olympics athletes learn to understand each other and cooperate better, be more friendly, break down barriers. So 4 of our 5 sports will be taking unified partners this time. The 4 sports that are taking unified partners are swimming, where we have a unified partner swimming with one of our athletes in the open water swim. We have 2 unified partners in bocce who are accompanying our 2 bocce athletes in team competition. We have 3 unified partners accompanying our 5 basketball players, and we have 3 unified partners accompanying our football players, our young football team. So we have a really good mix of experience and the rookies. We have some athletes that are as young as 9, and they're going all the way up to 52 is our oldest athlete. Special Olympics is a program that encourages training and competition for life. Now, the athletes have been training and competing very hard. Those of you who know Andrew Smiley and have seen him compete in the Cayman Islands over the last decade know this is a man who trains 6 days a week. He's in competitions nearly every other week. He goes to and as many regional and international competitions as his coach can shove him into. And all of the athletes are dedicated and committed, just like Andrew. Andrew, as the minister mentioned, is a veteran of, this is his 4th World Games. He's also been a member of the Carifta team. He's done open water swims internationally as well as locally as a member, as a competitor in the Flower Sea Swim and other local sea swims. So what I'm going to do now is ask Andrew to bring you a little bit of a message on behalf of his fellow athletes on the World Games team. Andrew?
Okay. The Special Olympics.
You have to speak up.
The Special Olympics athletes oath says, "Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt." I think I speak for all of my fellow athletes when I say thank you to Cayman for all of the support that has been shown to us over the years. As athletes, we feel very honored and excited to represent the Cayman Islands, and we look forward to doing our best and being good ambassadors for our country. The Cayman public can help us by supporting our fundraising efforts and encouraging our athletes whenever they see them. Sometimes a handshake or a well done is just what will help us to keep on trying and succeeding. We can do so much knowing that you are there for us. Thank you for being our fans.
So essentially, we are doing a soft launch today. We're not going to be giving you profiles of athletes and photos of athletes. That's going to come on the 100-day launch, which we normally do 100 days out from the team's departure. That's when we will give you all the profiles and stuff. In the meantime, though, we're going to be collecting that information. You can find the information on our website, etc. And I know some of you have already approached us asking us about profiling the teams and coming to practice and stuff like that. So definitely we will be having opportunities for you to do all that as we go forward. I'll just quickly say some dates. The team is set to depart on the 21st of July. This is a few days before the opening ceremony, and this is to allow us to take part in the host town program. The host town program allows the athletes to acclimate and also to get a chance to interact with their hosts and see the culture and of the country in which they're competing. The opening ceremony is Saturday, the 25th of July, and the competition will begin on the 26th. Closing ceremonies are the 2nd of August, and the team will return to Cayman on Monday, the 3rd of August. Usually we try to have as much support as possible for the departure and certainly for the welcome home, because I know these athletes are going to be coming back with lots of medals and very great experiences. On behalf of the team, I would like to thank all of you for all of your support and look forward to continued support, especially in sensitizing the Cayman public on the achievements of our special athletes, our unified partners, our coaches, volunteers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. I'm just going to touch on two subjects briefly in my closing remarks. One is to pick up on Andrew's comments on fundraising, which is so important to us, obviously. And the other is to revisit what I talked about to start with, which is the importance of families in Special Olympics. I'm going to narrow the definition of families a bit to include athletes and their immediate families. We have a quarterly families newsletter, appropriately called Shooting Stars. If you're not on the mailing list, you should ask to get put on it. It's a great read. It really does act as a forum to encourage families to be involved in Special Olympics. Families are the number one fans of our Special Olympics athletes. They give the type of love and support and encouragement that no one else can. Many family members become spokespeople, volunteers, coaches, fundraisers, and board members, giving them an important voice in the Special Olympics family. They're also an essential link to our community and wider support for our movement. A good number of family members will be cheering on our athletes at the World Games. So a big thank you to the family members of our athletes. Obviously, sending a delegation of this size to the World Games is a very costly undertaking for us. Whilst we have outstanding support from our existing corporate partners, and if anybody would be interested to I'm not going to read out the list, but if anybody actually wants that, I'd be happy to give it to you. This support only helps to cover our normal annual operating budget, which deals with local ongoing training and local and regional competition. Our provisional budget for the World Games is approximately, and it is a bit of a moving target because we're still building up the true cost picture, but it's about 170,000 Cayman Islands dollars on top of this normal annual operating budget. So we clearly need to raise more funds, which means we need to ask for more financial support from our community. We will shortly be announcing another very exciting partnership which will make a significant contribution to the budget. But at the moment, we're a long way short of where we need to be. So my message is simple. Please think of Special Olympics in your charitable giving and be generous. Our athletes are counting on that support. Thank you for your attention, and we'd be very happy to take any questions. Yeah.
In terms of the fundraising, you said 170 is your goal, essentially.
Just for the World Games.
How far along are you?
Well, that is a good question, actually. I mean, I'd like to say more about this partnership, this new partnership, but I don't want to steal the thunder of the party that's involved, and there'll be an announcement on that probably in a few weeks' time. I think that will raise around $60,000 or $70,000, which leaves us about 100,000. And as I said, our existing partners who are incredibly generous to us, and we call them corporate partners because they're there every year. It's not a one-off. They actually partner with us financially and provide volunteers for our events. So it really is a true partnership. But it's difficult to go back to the trough and ask for more. I'm not saying they won't step up further, but when you're already being generous, you really got to look to new sources. So I would say roughly 100,000 is the number we're.
Can I ask, what is the government input for this in terms of financial?
Well,
contribution?
the government is always generous to us, right? And the government's finances, they have limited ability to make big contributions, but they give us an annual contribution to our operating budget, and they're also a sponsor, and hopefully will continue to be a sponsor of a tournament, a golf tournament that we have coming up on the 23rd of this month, called the Eric Crutchley Memorial Golf Tournament, which is our largest fundraiser. But that fundraises the annual operating budget. So if that's a huge success, then it may contribute to the World Games. But it's actually, we have it every year. This is the 4th year of that tournament. So we rely on that success to fund our annual operating budget. But the government has come in, was a silver sponsor last year. Maybe they'll step up. Who knows? But yeah.
Can you put a figure on it, though? Either Osborne or...
I can't, to be honest, off the top of my head. But it's we're grateful, and I don't think we can. Obviously, we appreciate. I can't remember exactly what that number is.
Right, and the other thing is, what is the criteria for the athletes to be on this trip? Was there any qualifying standards
I'll
or
pass
whatever?
that to Tony to answer that one.
Yes, most definitely. The athletes, we are a year-round training program. So our athletes are competing, they're training and competing in our national games and so on every year. And their performances throughout the years, the 3 years leading up to the World Games, are recorded, noted, tracked, etc. When it comes to choosing athletes or athletes qualifying for the games, they have to be in full-time training, they have to be competing. The coaches are the ones who essentially are identifying which athletes are going to go. But certainly the training programs, as you heard me describe for Andrew, and he's probably one of the hardest working. But for all of those athletes, they're committed to training several times a week. They're are committed to continual improvement, and the coaches design the programs that way. And in order to qualify, they have to be in full-time training. Their attendance has to be good, their behavior has to be good, all those things, just like any other athlete. In Special Olympics, the competition rules are the same as for the sport as for any other. So we play by FINA and FIFA and all of those international regulations, and our athletes have to know these rules. So, for instance, there's no bly. There's no just because you're special you can get away with not knowing the rules. Andrew will tell you the things that can get him disqualified in an event, although that's in the far history. I don't think he gets disqualified much anymore. But once they're learning, they have to know the rules, and we are working by the sports rules. So that's another criterion. They have to be able to compete according to those rules.
Just to go back to the funding issue that Ron raised, what I'd like to say is that government continues to do all it can through its limited part. We support so many initiatives, but Special Olympics naturally is very special and dear to us. What we will say as government is that we implore the private sector to step up for such an important initiative. I think that our special athletes deserve no less. We have brought just recently a disability policy to this country, and that shows how serious we are in relation to those who have challenges among us. Government will not see a situation where, let's say, the goal of 170 was not attained. I'm sure that if there was a shortfall, my colleagues and I would find a way to support this team to get them to LA. But at this time, we've done all we can at this point.
Good morning, everyone. Kevin Morales with Cayman 27. So just to trouble you further on this issue, not including the just kind of annual sponsorship or what you give just for running the cost. As of right now, there's nothing that you're saying X amount of dollars of public funding is going toward sending people to the World Games as of right now. I just want to clarify.
No.
Okay. But the opportunity is there further down the road.
Further down the road, we
Gotcha.
can look at it.
Cool. So there's been a lot of talk about this is the largest delegation that's ever been sent. Just why is that important?
That's important for those of us who are trying to do this. It's a big deal for us. I think probably our biggest delegation has been around 20, 22, something like that. This is the first time we're doing team sports, which is a big step up for us. Our team sports have been kind of getting short shrift for a little while because we could only afford to send them to regional competitions. This is the first time in 16 years the games is back in our side of the world. Ireland, China, Athens, the cost to get a delegation there have been a lot higher. This year, it's still very costly, but it's easier for us to get people to LA, and we really thought it important that our team sports get a chance to shine, like track and bocce and aquatics. We're also happy that the younger athletes, our football team is quite young. They're between 9 and 13 or 14. So these are some of the younger athletes, because while older athletes are kind of moving up through the system, you can be a Special Olympics athlete until death. You know, you don't have, there's no upper age, but still we want to encourage the younger athletes to get involved. So our football team in particular is quite young, and we have some young track athletes too.
Just last question from me. What would make this Games a success for the Cayman Islands?
For us, we have always stressed to our athletes that they do their best. And even if they don't get the gold medals, we are just as happy about personal best. We're just about as happy about an enjoyable experience. As a head of delegation, my main goal, I think, is to get everyone there safely, have a wonderful time, and back safely. Medals is kind of the gravy on top of the pie. Having said that, though, national teams always want medals, and our athletes do not disappoint. They really put their all into it. So successful games, happy, healthy athletes with a few gold medals and silver medals thrown in. I think that's it for us.
What I'd like to do, I'd like to add to that, Kevin, to say that this is a games, but this is not all fun and games. When you consider our special athletes and the persons, this young man here, I've known him now. How old are you, Andrew?
25.
25. I've known him probably almost 20 years of that through the Lions Club, through the Lighthouse School. And here he is now, a productive member of society through Special Olympics, right? We have to, this is about developing these young people. It's not about the success at the games, but that exposure with that amount of people, natural is going to benefit each and every one that attends, and that's what it's all about.
Dion Anglin, Radio Cayman. You may have mentioned this before, but can you tell us, is this the very first time that the Olympic body has brought the unified sports on board?
This is the first time for us.
Okay, because this is the first time we're taking team sports?
This is the first time we're taking team sports.
Okay.
And you know, there's a big emphasis. Special Olympics International and the Games Organizing Committee this year, they have been making a big push for unified sports and a big campaign for it. So that's the focus of these games. We've been doing unified sports for a long time locally, but not in the international arena. Our national competition for bocce every year is unified. Our aquatics program has been unified for a long time, and our basketball and football teams have been playing unified for a long time. But this is the first time we're going to be taking a team which is a mixture of Special Olympics and non-Special Olympics athletes. And the unified partners, as they're called, they're chosen carefully to be of the same age group and athletic ability as the Special Olympics athletes. So they're full members of the team. And the team, and that the word unified speaks to it all. It's not, you know, that there's a big difference between the two types of athletes. Once you're part of the unified team, whether you're a Soki athlete or a unified partner, it's a team effort. And that's how it goes forward.
And they've begun practicing already together?
Yes.
How is that coming along?
Yes. Coming along well. I think we had a break over Christmas, and coaches had been waiting until after the Christmas break. Now they're going to start ramping up training a lot more. For those, unlike Andrew, who are not already training 6 days a week, they're going to be doing training in all the sports at least twice to 3 times a week. So you're going to see a lot more of that.
And
in the
speaking, speaking of coaches, how many athletes per coach?
There's a ratio which Special Olympics enforces, which says four athletes per coach, and that's the minimum. At Soki, we usually add a few additional so that we are ensured that our athletes are properly supervised and we have all the coverage. So we're taking 15 coaches. With our team, and some of our unified partners are also qualified coaches. We have 5 head coaches, 1 for each discipline.
Okay, and just to refresh my memory, how many sports did we take last games and the results?
We took 3 sports last time.
What were they?
I can't tell you the results off the top of my head.
That's fine.
There were a number of gold and silver and bronze medals, plus other results. I do remember Andrew getting a gold medal in open water swim, which was a milestone for us because it was the first time that the open water swim was entered as a full Special Olympic sport. At that point, it was considered as a demonstration sport because it was the first time, and it went so well that then it has become a full sport in the roster as part of the aquatics competition. So for me, I don't remember the numbers of medals.
That's fine.
But I know we did very well, and our athletes had several personal bests. They made many friends that 4 years later they're still communicating with on Facebook and by email and so on. And it was a good experience. So we're really happy to be giving more people that experience. It's a life changer, to be quite honest, to go to the games.